Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to be back with you. And boy, I tell you, after a very, very long amount of time trying to progress from one date to another, we have finally reached the first game of our Champions League adventure. We're still about, 6 months or so away from the start of the season. So once we get knocked out of this competition, it's going to be a little bit strange moving forward. So I'll give you a quick look here at the schedule. We're still on last year's schedule. We had three friendlies against our under-18s team, one of which we drew and two of which we barely won. And we have 3 games here in a very, very short amount of time. After these, we'll see how we do. If we can hold on somewhat, then we will move on. But I don't really see that happening, not with this team. And so we'll see what happens. This is another argument to be that we can make that I should probably move on to another team in Oceania so I can sort of get rid of this very, very long waiting period. Now, I'll let you know what we've done in terms of the squad, in terms of the way things have changed. We have had a lot of changes to the squad because it turns out that a lot of the players I brought in ended up looking pretty good. We look over here at the squad planner. We have a new goalkeeper. We have new defenders both on the left and right side. We completely, I guess Loke was on the team beforehand on the right. Left side, we've almost completely changed everything around. And we have a number of new center backs. I decided after looking around to keep us with a defensive midfielder. For a little while, I was thinking of moving him up to the having 2 midfielders instead. The reason why I decided not to do that in the end is because I would much rather have this Segundo Volante role, which I know is quite good in Football Manager. In fact, we look over here at tactics. You can sort of see what's happened in general with the tactic. I need to go register my players, don't I? You can see sort of what's happened in general with the tactics. So we do have 2 supporting roles back here. I did move that shadow striker up to be a deep lying forward, and the reason why I've done that is because we have a bunch of very, very good strikers. Maele ends up ranking as 5th here on this list. And we do have a couple of injuries, so there's a good chance that we'll see him again in one of these matches coming up. But we, at least on paper, have made some very, very good adjustments here to the squad and a lot of good changes. There are a number of players who are missing because I simply released them. In fact, when we go over here and look at our transfers and see who's gone out, we have to look at transfer history. My apologies. It's only showing me 1 player that we transferred out. I actually released more players than that. Interesting. I'm not exactly certain why it's only showing me 1, but we've released actually quite a few players here. So it is. So it goes. We don't have any transfer scheduled at the moment. We're doing a little bit of scouting, but there's not too much that we can do with that for the time being. So that's kind of what's happened here with the squad. You know, it's always it's kind of nerve-wracking thing to take a squad that was very successful and sort of blow it up like this. But I do think that overall we're going to be moving forward pretty well, and we're going to see hopefully some pretty good results in the end. I will show you one other thing here, though, and this is where the danger really lies in making these kinds of changes. Club atmosphere remains good, but the team cohesion is now at very poor. And you know me, I'm not going to give us a whole bunch of different training sessions to try to get that artificially put up. The reason for that is because of all the changes we've had in the squad. We also don't have any players who are even influential. It's just a whole bunch of other players now because we got rid of a lot of these guys. We didn't have a whole ton of leaders or highly influential players, and the problem is that the ones that we had were players who weren't particularly good and certainly not good enough to play for this squad. So it may take a little while for us to get everything moved up. What we have to worry about right now, though, is not that. We just have to worry right now about getting through these 3 matches, hoping that we don't get completely embarrassed, and then slowly moving the game along in the background as we try to get up to next, not August, but July. We probably should have a couple more friendlies scheduled here and there. One of the things that's tricky, though, and I'll show you this here, when we go to arrange a friendly, say we want to arrange a friendly, I don't know, for this Monday or something like that, the problem that we have is that we are looking only, for some reason, at French-Canadian teams, which would cost, 52,000 euros. That is not going to happen. That is a complete non-starter because we don't have that kind of money. We have 12,000 euro in the bank, and that's it. So we shouldn't even consider doing anything like that, and we're not going to consider doing that at all. What we're going to do is we're going to move the game along slowly, and I'll probably have to figure out a couple of videos to come up with here to sort of pass the time along and sort of let you know what's going on and what's happening. There you have it. The club itself, the club vision page, doesn't show a whole lot of trust in the moves that I've made. So the board remembers that we won last year, but they're not necessarily all that happy with the way things are going. even though we're not playing any matches at all. So it's pretty interesting how that works out. I don't know. It's really neither here nor there. We'll see what happens in terms of improvements to the club's stature after we start playing some of these Champions League matches. I don't think that we're necessarily going to do very well here. We play Vaiapuna first, and they are in the Samoan National League. I think this is an away match for us, actually. No, it's a neutral venue, so I'm not sure where we're playing this. And then afterwards, we'll play Lotaapai United, who are in Tonga. And then our final match will be against Titikaveka over in the Cook Islands. So, I mean, we'll see how this goes. I have a feeling that probably all three of those national leagues are ranked higher than ours, and it's probably going to be a real uphill battle for us. I don't think that we're going to necessarily go into this we're going to go into any of these matches expecting really to win or to do very well. In fact, when I look here at where everything ranks, I can see that we're ranked here as 15th most reputable in all of Oceania. And this is behind, like, you know, the Solomon Islands are kind of weird. There are a whole bunch of different leagues there, but we're behind at least some of their leagues in terms of our overall ability. At least we're not behind everybody in Vanuatu, so it could always be worse. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said before, really at some point in time, we're going to want to aim for Fiji or even New Zealand and see if we can find any teams there that potentially could take us on. I mean, I look at teams like, you know, Auckland City or something like that. And I believe, yes, it's a professional team. That's kind of what we want to do. We want to try to have a more professional team, be able to actually sign players and be able to actually compete. But that's sort of the long-term plan, and I'll talk with you a little bit more about that this afternoon. Anyway, there you have it. That's kind of the way that it works. The age-old question is, do you buy players to fit into your tactics, or do you buy the players first and then fit in the tactics later? This is sort of a combination of both. Like I said, we don't really have any defensive midfielders, but we're going to sort of requisition a couple of midfielders and have them stick them over there and have them at least play and just sort of see what happens. At this level, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. And there you have it. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.